The following is presented by the Pinellas County Extension.
Florida's natural ecosystems are being ruined by an invasion of non-native plants. This invasion is partially responsible for the declining numbers and quality of native animal and plant communities throughout Florida. Brazilian pepper tree is one of the most aggressive of these non-native invaders. Where once there were productive mangrove communities, now there are pure stands of Brazilian pepper trees. Scrub and pine flatwood communities are also being affected by this invasion. Nearly all ecosystems in central and southern Florida are being encroached upon by the Brazilian pepper tree. Land managers and homeowners are now realizing the need to remove and stop the spread of Brazilian pepper trees. Proper identification of a Brazilian pepper tree is very important. You need to make sure that you're not actually killing the native holly tree. The way you can determine if it is a Brazilian pepper is to look at the leaf structure. The leaves are going to be alternately arranged on the stem, and each leaf is made up of smaller leaflets. And these are usually in numbers of 7 to 9, an odd number of leaflets on the leaf. And so that's one way to determine if it's actually a Brazilian pepper tree. Your native holly will be a simple leaf. The leaves of the Brazilian pepper also have a reddish color, and most importantly, when you crush the leaves, you're going to get the smell of turpentine. The fruits that form on the Brazilian pepper tree will be in clusters. They will be glossy and green and juicy at first, but they become a bright red once they ripen. Make sure that you correctly identify a Brazilian pepper tree and make sure it's not the native holly tree. And both of them have red berries, so just seeing red berries is not a true indicator that it's a Brazilian pepper tree. If you're not sure the plant you have is a Brazilian pepper or a native holly tree, you can always bring a sample to the Extension Service and have it properly identified. So let's talk about how we control Brazilian pepper trees. You need to use an herbicide to kill Brazilian peppers. Probably the best way to do it is to apply an herbicide to a cut stump. The best way to do this is to use a saw so that you can cut the trunk as close to the ground as possible. And within 5 minutes of making that cut, you need to apply an herbicide that contains the active ingredient of glyphosate or triclopyr. And it should be applied as carefully as possible to the thin layer of living tissue called the cambium, which is just inside the bark of the stump. You can use a paintbrush to apply the herbicide, or you can purchase a bottle and apply it directly to the cambium layer as well. If you have a small diameter Brazilian pepper tree, you can also cut it with a lopper and then apply the herbicide directly to the cut area. The best time to cut Brazilian pepper trees is when they are not fruiting, because seeds contained in the fruits have the capability of producing new Brazilian pepper trees. If Brazilian pepper trees that have fruits attached are cut, care should be taken not to spread the fruits to locations where they can cause future problems. Fruiting Brazilian pepper trees can be controlled using a basal bark herbicide application. Foliar herbicide application can also be used on Brazilian pepper tree seedlings or any growth that might happen after you've already treated a stump. You would apply the herbicide containing either triclopyr or glyphosate directly to the tree's foliage or leaves. Results of this foliar application will be a wilting of the leaves. The herbicide will be moved throughout the parts of the tree, thus effectively controlling the Brazilian pepper tree. Whenever you're going to use a pesticide, you always need to make sure you read the label and follow the directions specifically. You will find information there about personal protective equipment and what should be worn so that you are protecting yourself from any damage that might occur from using a pesticide. Most frequently, what you want to wear are long sleeves, long pants, shoes that are made of rubber, gloves, a hat, and some kind of eye protection as well. You might even need more, but the label will tell you how much you need to wear, and you always need to wear whatever the label states. When removing Brazilian peppers, be sure to check with your local authorities and make sure that you don't need a permit. Many authorities have waived the need to have a permit to remove a Brazilian pepper tree, but make sure you check.
For more information on this and many more topics, visit www.pinellascountyextension.org.